Okay.
So, which I'm very happy with. And because my new website, everything's going to be shipped from us.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
I figured I would prefer to do that. I have done drop shipping before. I'm a touchy feely person.
Yeah.
I like to touch it, feel it, and so and know that, okay, this is the product,
Yeah.
and I plan on expanding it, as time goes by. So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and get my touchy feeling on. If I get a good distributor that has fast shipping times, then maybe we can go through the drop shipping method.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can even use a third party fulfillment center, something like that, which wouldn't mind doing that either. I'm just very cautious of how things are received now, because all it takes is that one person on social media to say some crazy stuff. I look at as far as back to hair care, Diva Curl is going through some stuff right now. People are saying that they used it and their hair's falling out.
Oh no. I'm like, I use Diva Curl.
Like, and there were like YouTube influencers that were, like paid promotions, and hairstylists that were saying, use this stuff. And then I watched a video, and this one hairstylist was like, I've been doing people's hair, and this is what I told them to use. They're using it, and I'm noticing a difference in their hair, and it's not a good difference.
Oh my.
That says something.
But I was like, oh good, I don't think I've ever used it before.
I've never used it because it's supposed to, I think it's more tailored towards, it's actually tailored not just for natural hair, but also anyone that has curly hair is supposed to accentuate your curls and things like that. And like they put like this statement out on their Facebook and Twitters, and it just seemed very blah.
Yeah.
Very blah. Like, we've understand that there's been some issues with their products. We're going to do some testing. Okay, y'all ain't gonna stop selling them though.
Right.
Yeah. So,
especially if you're doing like a hair or a face product. I mean, my rule of thumb is like the stuff that I get from my suppliers, I only use like reputable suppliers who test their products, who are, have been in business for 20 years, because there's all kinds of new stuff out on the market and you don't know. I mean, most of the stuff has never been tested. I mean, you think about the model of, you get a product and then you use Instagram and use Facebook to promote it. And sometimes like you're on your Instagram and an ad pops up and you click on it because you're interested in a video, and it's just a 1-page website that says, for a limited time, we're selling this, but you don't know how long they've been in business. They're using the fact that it's new, that it's different, how the sales strategy to pull people in. But it's mostly, it gets younger people and kids who aren't savvy enough to be like, hey, I'm going to put this stuff in my hair or on my face, but I don't really know, I mean, for even a company like Johnson & Johnson or, Procter & Gamble or whatever, I mean, yeah, we may not like the chemical additives in it, but if people's hair starts falling off, they pull that, they've got the power to like refabricate, pull and stuff, and they test their product,
and they will
and they got insurance.
And insurance, and you'll walk past that aisle and it will be bare.
Right, it'll be exactly. And so people get on these large companies, but they actually, in some ways, they've earned the trust that I give them. And so when I try to offer a product, because I offer a product that you put on your skin, it has to be skin safe. The last thing I want is somebody to come back and be like, oh, I put your oils on and my skin broke out. It's like, oh, it's like, because I don't want to hurt anybody either.
Right.
But you got to be, people's hair falling out. I mean, I could not, could you imagine? Like, even if it's you, like to go in and have to deal with something like that, it's like, nobody wants that. You don't want that for yourself. And as a seller, you don't want that for your customers either.
Yeah, and that would explain a lot, especially like anyone that sells on Amazon, they know that to sell in certain categories, you have to get approved.
Yeah.
And in order to get approved, you have to show that you have relationships with reputable companies, and you have to prove that with invoices and things like that. So,
yeah, I'm looking at the Diva Curl thing now. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yes, it ain't pretty, honey. It's not pretty.
Yeah. Oh, that's horrible. Okay. It's just like, but yeah, I mean, and you got to be, and even like if you're making something out of your kitchen, I mean, the popular, I've seen these all over Facebook, I think even Taraji P. Henson, she made a product out of her kitchen, but don't get it twisted. She probably then hired a lab to recreate whatever she was create and make sure it was safe before it's on the shelves of Target and Walmart. Like, yeah, it's a nice story. I made it in my kitchen, but what you're getting out of Target and Walmart is not out of Taraji's kitchen.
Exactly. Like if you think about, what is it, Carol's daughter?
Yes. Yeah.
That started out in the kitchen, but when it hit Target, I knew if it wasn't being made in the kitchen.
Right. And then you can even see you look at the back and see the ingredients. Now that, it's got the regular household ingredients that are in every product that's, out on the market. But I mean, some of these things are, there goes my phone. There we go. Some of these things are safe. Some of these things are questionable. But for the most part, anything that's sold in a Target or a Walmart is not pulling your hair out. It's not.
Hopefully.
It's not for the most part, But,
right.
But yeah, but you, like as a person who's a seller, if that's your passion and you want to do stuff like that, yeah, go ahead and make it. But before you like put it out on the market, do the due diligence, and it doesn't really cost that much when you look into it, to getting your products tested, to making sure they're safe. It's an investment, but
it's necessary.
It's a necessary investment. And if you think your product can stand up to the scrutiny, I mean, like, for example, essential oils are really popular, but essential oils can be toxic to the wrong people or to the right. You know what I mean? So even though it's all natural, it doesn't necessarily mean it's safe, So, and that's, if you're selling these things, essential oils and stuff, you have to know enough about what you're selling to be able to be like, for example, most lemon stuff is not really skin safe for people who have sensitive skin.
Right.
So, if you're making some sort of a blend and you add lemon, you have to disclose it, lemon, lime, grapefruit, you have to disclose it so people know that they might have a skin sensitivity to it. Or people who have a skin sensitivity know that it's an ingredient in your blend or whatever. But that's knowing what you're selling, and that's all, but that all goes back, taking it all the way back. The point is that you can have a passion about something, you can add value, you can solve problems, but avoid the other problems, like, the Curl Smiler and Diva Curl and stuff like that, and get your stuff tested, make it a real business. If you really believe in it, stand by it and invest in it.
Have that paperwork that says it went to this independent lab. This is what it was tested. It has me thinking about CBD.
Yes. Yeah.
So CBD really isn't regulated right now.
Oh, it's all over the place. I mean, all over the place.
And when I went to the ASD show last year, in fact, ASD is going to have another CBD section for the next coming shows. I learned about how some products that, like, things you get at the gas station, probably never went to a lab.
Right.
And it was very important for people that presented their product. You had to learn, what lab did they use? Is this a lab that's used to testing these type of compounds? And you can really look at the breakdown of the things that are in it, because issues can start when they plant the seed.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think about that. I don't, you know, because it's a product where you have to plant the seed. So are they using, what do you call those type of seeds? Is it organic?
Oh, right. Okay.
You know, does it have a lot of nasty stuff in the seeds?
Right. Yeah.
GMOs and all that type of stuff, you know, which things I never thought about, because you just see the oil,
right,
or the little gummy bear that they made, but you didn't realize that started in the ground. So if the process in the ground was wrong, everything else is wrong.
Everything else is off. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, there is a lot. And this is I mean, when I saw like they were selling CBD stuff at Turkey Hill, you know, which is a local convenience gas station in Pennsylvania, but since we have people who are not from here.
Yes. For others, that could be like a 7-Eleven or a Wawa.
or
a Raceway. Those are south. They're like.
But when I'm like, well, what business do they got selling some CBD oil or type stuff? I mean, like, what do they know? It's like,
and you have no idea. Like, it may even have more THC in it than what you think.
Yeah.
Which you have to watch, because certain states aren't up with the laws, you know, saying it's okay to have, you know, THC products. You know, because I happen to live in a state that allows CBD, but it has to be derived from a farm in Virginia.
Oh, really?
So if it was derived from a farm in Colorado or anywhere else, it's not technically allowed to be sold in this state.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I could get arrested for doing such a thing.
Right. Oh, wow. So you got to find us who's growing CBD, growing cannabis.
Well, it's who's growing cannabis or hemp.
Or hemp, right.
But out here, they grow tobacco.
Yeah.
You make more money. So people still, you know, because they still take tobacco and use it in things. So it's one of those things where you just kind of, you want to make sure that when you step into something that you are professional.
Yeah.
And I also want to employ anyone who may be in that situation, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
You can always feel free to drop us a line, talk to us, and say, I want to start X, Y, and Z. I need to have all my ducks in a row.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
You know, you never know who we know.
Yeah.
You know, who we could refer you to, or even do a little research and say, okay, in your state, this is what the laws are for this type of product. You know, we're really talking generalizations, you know, because especially if you want to do something that's topical, you know, anything that's topical, you should have tested this point blank period.
Yeah. And don't let that discourage you. I mean, it's all a part of the cost of doing business if you're serious about something. I mean, you know, I always make fun of the people who make meals out of their, dinners and stuff, because I mean, one, like my bachelor's degree is in hotel and restaurant management. So I understand about being Serve Safe certified and the health department. So it's like, when you learn about that stuff, and then you see, you know, Mary Jo and Bill advertising their home cooked dinner. It's like, well, has their kitchen been tested? You know, I mean, it's just a commercial kitchen. Or where are they cooking the food? Who's cooking the food? You know, I'm very aware of those things, but people make thousands of dollars doing that, and I'm not going to knock their hustle, but I'm saying if somebody gets sick, they could lose their home. You know, I mean, they, you know, by just trying to make a couple extra dollars on the side because they can really tear up some macaroni and cheese, you know, but what if somebody gets sick? You know, you only need one person to get sick, and
That's
that's it.
it. That's
And,
it.
you know,
But
so,
what I would say to them at that point is, okay, you made your $1,000. Now it's time to invest in your company.
yes, right.
You
And
know, you have a company. Go through the process. Is there a bar that has a kitchen they're not using?
A lot of churches have commercial kitchens that
Yeah.
are safe certified, continuously checked, yearly checked by the health department. You can make a nice deal with them and cook your meals there. And then at least you got that covered, and then you get yourself certified. But I'm just saying, like, we need to step up our game a little bit, because you don't want to, lose. Because, I mean, you honestly, in a small community, if somebody makes somebody sick, most people aren't going to file a claim against them. They're just not going to order. They're not going to buy their dinners anymore. And they're going to tell everybody, don't eat so-and-so's dinners because whatever. Last time I did it, I was in the bathroom all weekend.
Yep.
That's mostly what's going to happen. But with social media, your reach is greater than it is.
You have no idea.
You have no idea, right? You put something on Facebook advertising your dinner, and let's say, Jane Suburbanite decides she wants to go get her some mashed potatoes or sweet potatoes and macaroni cheese and fried chicken, and but she's not from the community necessarily. If something happens, and then she might decide to sue, but you never know what your reach is, and in a way you kind of want your reach to expand outside of your community, because that's how you grow. But then you also have to step up your game, so just something to think about, any of y'all who are out there cooking in your kitchen.
Yeah.
But just my suggestion.
Well, you're right, because as you know, I'm working on a daycare, and we have to go through the same process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same process. In fact, we have to go through the same process, but there is an option where if we get food catered, we don't.
Right. Okay.
However, do you know how much that costs?
I bet it costs a lot. You want to charge them kids out the wazoo.
Okay. You know how much that costs to get catered food into a daycare for all those kids? You know what I mean? So, and you're going to always have to have something, even if you give a bag of snacks.
Yeah. Yep.
You gotta have the right certification to handle food, because you're handling food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, lots to think about. Lots to go through. And once again, anyone that's listening, if you're in that place, contact us. We'll talk to you. Never know. I'd say 3 hits are better than 1.
That's right. It doesn't mean it. And so the one thing I've learned, if anything else, is when you step up your game, because a lot of times people think it's a cost thing. It's like, oh my gosh, that's going to cost. You would be surprised how much or little these things actually cost. Now, some things are expensive, but there are some things. A ServSafe certification is $99. It's time classes. I mean, if you don't got $100 and you selling food at your house, there's a problem. You know what I mean? So you can
think on it.
You can do that. You selling $10 plates, you can do that. That's 10 plates, right? So some of these things are not that costly to get yourself up and running and get to a point of you're protected, your home is protected, your family's protected, and you're not hurting anybody. So I kind of went off on a tangent, didn't I? But
that's okay.
Conversation though, but yeah.
Well, hopefully, maybe someone's listening or watching that does such a thing, and we're speaking to them, and they can be convicted and say, you know what, they're right. Yeah. Let me do this. Especially with the ServSafe. That, I mean, just working on that, or you just never know who could use your services, especially if you have local bars and things like that. They're going to have a kitchen normally. A lot of the times they may have a cook, they might not have a cook. So I can't tell you how many times you go to a bar and like, oh, cook ain't here today. you know,
I want some wings.
I want wings to go with what I'm drinking. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you just never know. You never know what type of business relationship you could end up with if you step up your game.
Yes, that's very true. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.